There, that's my thing.
Is Nicole Hansen here? I thought she was here.
Yeah, she's here. She's just not on camera.
Here.
Oh, I don't see your little tab on my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, okay.
Right?
Yep.
So you've got everybody listed?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess the first order of business is the meetings from last.
Well,
From our
actually, let
last
me
meeting?
introduce, we do have a visitor. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Carson Maestas. I'm one of the local downtown residents. I heard that there was a mural being discussed for railroad, and I thought I'd drop by and hear what the plans were for it. I'm very curious and interested to hear what's going on.
Okay, well, we do have that on our agenda. And
Excellent.
could you say your name again? I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, it's Carson Maestas.
Are you the person that posts a lot of photos on Nextdoor?
Yes, that's me.
Yes.
With your drone? One of them
Yes.
is my screensaver here at work.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Which one?
This one's also running for council.
Yes, I am running for council as well.
Yeah.
But
What a way to, oh, that's great. You should have your middle name be photographer person or.
Yeah, the Snowy Falls one. I showed it to
God,
like
I love
everybody
that
at
one.
work. It's because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful photo.
that is probably my favorite picture I've ever taken. It was very, very cold when I took that though.
Yeah, I remember that time. All right. Well, welcome. We do have mural on our agenda, so we'll be getting there shortly, but we're gonna start with looking at the minutes from May 8th. And was there anything on here that we needed to update? There was one thing I see for the, no, that's not, my bad. That's the art train. Any updates or was it complete? And does anybody want to approve the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as they are, as presented.
I'll second. Send then a motion.
All right. So we've got minutes approved. So first order of business is a plein air paint out update. Nicole Hansen, do you want to give a plein air update real quick? I can,
Yeah,
if you know.
so I think we're just kind of continuing with progress. We've updated the flyer and we have another meeting coming this week, so we'll have more for you soon. I don't know what else we have, Donna.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, one question I had for Nicole, do we have a banner ordered for that?
I just lost you guys. Let's see on the screen here. I need to get the banner ordered, but I just wanted to run something by you guys as far as the location where people gather.
Yes.
My suggestion is going to be that you don't gather at the Meadowbrook building. It is a separate entity from the city. So my suggestion is that you have everybody gather at Centennial Park, which is next door to Meadowbrook. There is a group that's in the shelter that day, but I think if you position yourself in the parking near the road, get your tent up, have everybody check in there, then they can walk or drive to, because Meadowbrook, you know, the range is kind of is large of where they want to be, and then have everybody come back and park there. I'm also concerned because of the parking at Meadowbrook. I think there's going to be ample parking either at Centennial or at the school next door. So I just wanted to see if you guys were okay with that.
Makes sense.
I understand that North Bend and Snoqualmie own Meadowbrook. Is that why this is?
They currently own, I'm not going to say it's complicated. Currently, the city of Snoqualmie and the city of North Bend own it. The property line goes down the middle and Sideview Park District does the reservations. However, both cities are, that agreement, that ILA expires this year. And so both cities are in meetings with the Snoqualmie tribe, who wants to be a third group that oversees that park. And so we were in that contracting phase with them. So that's not helping me lead my decision in that, but that is the status of that area.
Wow.
Okay, so you're saying Centennial Park
Yeah,
or for,
the meeting area where you would
yeah, for
give
the
everybody all their
registration
stuff.
and for the
Yeah,
return, registration
Yeah.
and return. I was just looking for more words.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. All right, let me take a look. We, Nicole and I meet this Friday. We have a meeting scheduled to kind of finalize some stuff. But yeah, the banner would be good to have,
yeah,
placed, ordered here quickly. Same script font as the aprons.
yeah, I'm not concerned about that turnaround time, so I'll get that ordered.
Okay, okay.
ASAP, so banner, so same, so apron font, okay.
Yeah, that way it stays pretty. What do you think, Nicole? I was thinking from a consistency and branding perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And I ordered a bunch of those aprons last year, so we have those are over in the old library, just as a FYI.
And I thought, well, last time you and I spoke, Nicole, and maybe this is something we can talk about on Friday, is we wanted to maybe have two different colors, one for the artists and one for sale. So the artists get their own color. And then people who wish to purchase an apron can get a different color. Do you remember that, Nicole?
Nicole Weedy or Nicole Hansen?
Nicole Hansen.
Yeah, I remember the conversation. I don't know that we decided, and I am open to both depending on, I think it's cool because a lot of people asked us, and I like the idea of the artist being separate so that it's kind of a participatory, like you can only get the black one if you participate.
So like a green one or something like that, if you're wanting to buy one or something. I don't know. We can get back to you on that, Nicole. The other
Yeah,
Nicole.
let me know, when I had the black ones last time, there was a bit of an ordering lag, so, I might just have to reach out to Dark Horse and just, the color may be determined about what they can get, what's available, so just let me know.
Okay, we can get back to you on that. We'll talk about it on Friday.
Okay, and, I will be out of town that weekend, but you guys are full functioning, so it's okay. I'll get you set up before I leave town though.
Oh, that Friday on the 22nd?
Yeah, I'm leaving Friday. I'll be gone all weekend out of town, so,
That's okay. I think we'll be okay.
I think you're gonna be awesome. Okay, all right, that's what I needed to know about that.
Okay. And I think next up we do have do we want to do the art train real quick and then come to, oh, I guess that's the window mural update.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that I reached out to Sarah Hughes last week and came up with a timeline. I don't have my notes with me. Just so that we're not scrambling at the last minute. So she's going to be working on this summer Lawrence the Elk to go up, I think, July 1, and then a fall Lawrence end of September, and then a winter holiday Lawrence Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, fun.
So. Okay. Oh, so yeah, you guys, mural and art train, both are probably meaty topics.
Well, I would like to, because it's not on the agenda and our next scheduled meeting will be after Cat, 4th of July, Chalk the Block.
Oh, yeah, good one. Sorry about that,
What's
Donna.
what's our timing looking like for that day and things like that? And do you need help or sandwich boards or what do you need?
The timing is going to be after the parade, so I think that's around like 10:15 to 11 for the ROA parade. And then they'll be ending up at the YMCA parking lot.
Mhm.
And which is where we'll be.
In
And
the parking lot or on the sidewalk?
well, that's what I have to go check it out. I have a map and I'm hoping that because the parking lot concrete is much easier to draw on than the asphalt for the parking lot, besides all the debris that accumulates there. So I just want to double check that we have enough, because that was one of my concerns with when we were coordinating this with the ROA, is that we won't have as much sidewalk as we did previously, but there'll be lots of other activities, so that may not be a big issue. As far as I could definitely use some help that day. It's 11 to 1 tentatively. If it's really busy, we'll stay till 2. But just putting up the tent and things would be helpful. And Nicole Wiebe was ordering, instead of doing the big sandwich boards, we're going to do the yard signs.
Yeah.
For
I have the
every-
yard signs, Kat, and I've copied the posters, so whenever, we can connect, I'll do that. And then I also bought, last week I bought, I think 12 little boxes of chalk at the dollar store, and I think we also have chalk still left in the buckets
We
that are in
do.
the library, so,
So that was kind of my question too, is to see if I need to make another run up there to kind of top things off, or since I was going to be on the crayon hunt anyway for the table murals.
I also have crayons. I'll let you see how many crayons I have, and I did order the murals. Those should be coming in mid-July, and that's for Snoqualmie Days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I wanted to bring up about that, Nicole, I'm certainly happy to kind of get that out and stuff like that. But we have the pancake breakfast at dark 30 that morning till the parade. And then we run downtown and set up the public safety booth. So is it okay if, while others are setting up the public safety booth, which is going to be around noontime, that I go put out the table murals?
Yeah,
Or do you want them out earlier, is what my question really is.
I think whenever the volunteers can do it, I think it's fine. I think that's fine. And I think I ordered 5 of them. You don't have to use them all, but I think that's okay, Kat.
Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there.
On the 4th of July, I can come help you with your tent and things like that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
getting those things set up and such. So
Do you want to meet in the parking lot at 10:30?
sure.
I can come over and help.
Thank you.
No, of course, no problem. Happy to. Any other things that you need for your chocolate block event?
No, really, it's one of those nice things that's kind of minimalistic as far as the things you have to invest in for putting it on and stuff. And I usually try and bring some, cold drinks and stuff like that for. But it just, we stayed busy last time and the time really flew by.
Okay. Do you need anybody to help you pick up stuff?
No, like I said, the yard signs are lighter weight, and that was my
Okay.
concern. So,
Well, if you find that you need help, just send me an email. Cause I can come pick stuff up then. Okay.
all right, thank you.
Oh, yeah, happy to come down. And anybody else in the team, feel free, the timing now, it's 11 to 1. Give us shift breaks or whatever. Let's do the art train update real quick, and then we'll go to murals, because I think we've got a lot. It's a pretty meaty topic from when I'm going through all the paperwork. Is everybody okay with us kind of going through our current activities and then starting on the mural project?
That sounds good to me.
I'll say right now, what I'm really interested in hearing from you guys before you get too far down the path is particularly how money is gonna be handled and ticket sales, just as a reminder when, like as an example with the wine walk, we partnered with the gallery because they're a 501c3, a nonprofit. The city's not a nonprofit, so we aren't in a position to be taking in revenue per se and having, you know, huge expenses. So those are my kind of questions right now, is to make sure you guys are on the right path with that.
I have, as far as ticket sales, it's kind of tough for me to figure that out. Because it's an art walk. There is no alcohol involved. There's no sign up. It isn't, I don't, you know, unless people you just want to give them a space in the city. I don't know how we can charge someone for walking around and looking at art and such. The only tickets that are really going to happen will be the people who are riding the train.
Okay, and that's going through the train museum, right?
Yes,
They're
it
doing the
is.
tickets. Okay,
They're offering a discount and for the day to be members of the art walk. And so that's why, so the number one, I'm interested in getting an attendance count. And there's no way to get an attendance count unless they have a hooji widget to put on their wrist or something. You know, that give, you know, like we start with 300. At the wine walks, we had between 250 and 300 people each time, because the city really cannot absorb any more automobiles to park anywhere or whatever. So we basically had a ceiling when we did the wine walk.
but for the train, is there only one train and it runs from Snoqualmie to North Bend? So only the people that ride that one train will be able to participate, or is the train going multiple times throughout the day?
I believe it's going back and forth throughout the day, but we haven't set our hours in stone yet.
Okay.
One idea was from 11 until 4, and another idea was from 10 to 5.
Usually they
No,
run,
I take that back. 10 to 4 or 11 to 5.
they usually make 3 round trips, Nicole, from starting at the, I believe, the North Bend or Snoqualmie station, down to the falls, back over to North Bend and back to Snoqualmie. So that's a round trip. And
Yes,
they usually do 3 on it during the course of the afternoon, and the first one starts running around 11-ish.
yeah.
And this train is just unique to the event. It's only doing running for the event.
This is general public is going on it as well.
Right, but it's only running that day because of the art train, right? It's gonna be called the art train, but open to the public.
That meeting is still needs to be arranged because we finally got all the permitting for North Bend. So we're going to talk to the train people, and I think our people and that was another thing for me to wonder about. You know, let's have some kind of identification, like if it's a wristband or whatever else, that there ought to be like just right at the train station and somewhere else where people who are not going to go to the train station but want to use their own vehicle to go to North Bend. We've got a lot of wristbands and they're all different colors. And I don't know if we can just, you know, write on them, Art Train 2023 or whatever, or put a sticker on them or something.
Are you saying that's your way of doing a count at the end of the event, how many people attended?
Yes.
Okay, what about vendors? Are you charging the vendors to be there?
Charging the vendors?
The
No,
art vendors?
no. No, if we indeed supply canopies and tables,
I don't want to see us get into that
I
that
agree.
business.
I agree.
Dawn, are you agreeing with me? I don't want to
Yes.
see our fund go to that. I think most
No.
artists would have their own tents.
I think,
Exactly.
yeah, it's, leave it up to them. I would agree with that. Can I ask a question? So what is the goal of the count? I mean, what's the purpose of it? I get that you want to kind of gauge, the participation and the number of people who arrive, but is there other methods we can do, whether it's sales with the artists? I mean, just tallying up, how they did that day or something, because I'm trying to understand, what problem are we trying to solve?
For me, it's a budget kind of thing.
Budget, okay.
I want to talk to our merchants and our restaurant humans and see if they'll be willing to want to have their name put on a flyer that will be kind of like their advertising, that will say, like, during the art train, you get 10% off at these local restaurants and vendors, and merchants.
Yeah, you're so polite. Look at you, hand raised and everything.
Well,
I'm gonna call on Kat. Kat?
Question was, the train museum mentioned that they, having the special events tickets being discounted. Would not they have a way of tracking how many tickets they sold?
But that would only be for the the train riders.
Yes. Oh, so you're trying to get the whole,
Yeah.
but
I don't
mean,
know
that-
if you're gonna be able to do that.
I think
Okay.
that at least with the train, that might be a starting point to know we had at least this many people.
Exactly.
So, and then part two of my question is the downtown vendors are, definitely, interested if we bring things to them that they just like to know ahead of time, as far as, especially if they need to bump up like their service.
Exactly.
Like that, if we're expecting more people in town to help serve, but they're way behind. I mean, they're way into the thoughts of ways that people are being brought into town, and as a matter of fact, if we have any kind of flyers or anything like that, or Nicole Weeby's the summer activity kind of stuff, if things are on that. Also, Snoqualmie Inn asked that, because they give little welcome bags to their guests at the hotel,
Right.
putting in things of like what's happening around the valley, and they also have a bulletin board that they can put all of that up on as well.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for that, Kat.
Yeah, I
And-
think as you don't have a registration to attend, that it would be tough unless you do some sort of method where people are being funneled in and you can take a count, like while people
Yeah,
are walking
exactly.
in one and they have an exit on the other side. But I think that's
So-
tend to be stifling.
Is there any reason we couldn't use like Eventbrite and just do free tickets that they sign up so we have a registration?
I mean, I don't see why you couldn't,
So,
but it's not limited to if you didn't register, correct?
yeah,
Right, but it would give us, again, it'd give us another number. We can, tally that together with our train ridership, and it'll at least start to give us a basis.
There's a lot of different metrics you could use, because this is your first time too, like
Right.
asking the artists on like sales, number of sales, average sale was too, like if they can give you things like that, because that will support for the following year of, hey, artists, they did really well, or maybe it wasn't
Yeah.
great, or we had better pottery sales than we did oils and stuff like that.
yeah. That might work, but because of the sales are so individual, it isn't like any of the artists have to sell a certain number in order to come back next year or anything like that.
Understood. It's just, it gives you an idea of how successful the event is.
Exactly. And yeah, I want to, and that will be a good something that I can add in on my informational email to the artists. But I really, so as far as Dennis, your idea about register so that we know how many to plan for, I think that really, and then especially for the community art project, it'd be nice to know how many people are interested in participating in that. So that might be a good thing to look into and gel up a little more firmly. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if you do a QR code to a Eventbrite registration page, I think you can get probably both of those into maybe one event. You might need to do two. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to look, but we can explore that.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's see. So would you like to, do we want to talk about concerns on that, or do you want to see our expected expenses?
I think that was
I
budget,
guess I'm
correct, Nicole?
curious. What was that, Donna?
You were interested in hearing more about the budget, or if you have a budget.
I mean, there's small costs that are involved that are fine to support this, but I mean, it's really good music to my ears that we're not going to be having a rental equipment bill, because that's important. I guess tracking the vendors, Michelle, it kind of seems like similarly to what you had done to the wine walks, just expand
Exactly.
I think everything Donna was saying about different metrics and performance measures for tracking people is good, along with train sales. So I don't know if I would do tickets for something on Eventbrite, just because you're not really offering them anything but the experience, albeit it's free. I think there's other ways that you could track things. So those are some, but so tell me what you're thinking for expenses. And then Dennis, you had said something about sponsorship. I just don't really feel like we need we're not in a position to be taking in cash sponsorship per se either. So
Okay.
talk to me about that.
So this year, I think we're going to be supporting our Snoqualmie Valley artists in what we're doing. So we're not going to charge them a space to, charge for the spaces that we set up.
Okay.
We have a couple of locations that our team gets together this Wednesday in 2 days to discuss how we want to do the physical layout of the Railroad Community Park. And my husband and I went down and measured everything. The distance between the stand-up posts that are in the little pavilion area that are to the left of the gazebo. So in case we want to put banners or whatever, there's certain things about our dear city that I would like to cover up. The picnic tables are yucky. I don't know, you want me to get all the high school kids to come paint? I have a couple of things, like even thinking, as much as I hate plastic picnic table covers, because we're going to look at possibly getting either 2 food trucks of food that is not offered here typically in Snoqualmie. And the team is going to talk about where we might put those. And I'm thinking, I think that is the very tail end of our, I got a map right here. Yes, so it's not King Street and section where the gazebo is, it's at the other end, and the name of that street is not on my picture.
Is it First Street, or is it down by the church? Because
It's down by the
river.
log. It's where the log.
Okay, I think that's Fir. Okay.
It's
As far as the picnic
FIR. It's FIR Street. And I
Fir,
was calling
Fir
it
Street.
First. All this time I've been calling it First, and that's why I have to undo that thinking.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
plastic
Sell it.
tablecloths, I would say go ahead, we can get those, like a big roll of it, or at like the dollar store, individual ones, those kind of little expenditures are okay. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the Parks Department's got a couple of vacancies right now, so I can't really promise that they'd be able to do a lot, so I
Right,
think that would be a good backup plan. There's
Yeah,
also the tables and chairs on the boardwalk, people could walk and sit on those to eat as well.
right, and the tables and chairs you're thinking on the boardwalk?
I don't want the tables and
They're
chairs that
already
are on the
there.
boardwalk to be moved to the event,
Right.
but people can walk with their food and sit on the tables and chairs on the boardwalk.
Okay. I was hoping to keep everything in Railroad Community Park where the food stays in there and because we're going to have musicians and just make it one area so that it isn't impacting the whole town. I'm just thinking about garbage and stuff, whatever we're putting together, but we haven't, that isn't solid. I'm wide open to suggestions on that. I don't want to crowd out what other restaurants are doing for, when they're allowing takeout food, the restaurant, and then the people can use what's available right there in the city too.
Okay. If you get a couple of food trucks and they're coming, you book them. One of the things that we can do is we can close King Street, which is probably a good idea anyhow, because of the amount of people milling around. We can close that. We can put that on the special event permit. And then also you've triggered something, the music, when we had the wine walk, we would have, not a great budget, but we had a small budget to pay the musicians. So
Right.
just, you can get with me offline, and figure out what that amount is.
I
and-
have that all printed up and Dennis has that for us to see. Dennis, do you have that for us to see?
Do you have enough electricity in that area too? The musicians typically.
There is electricity in that covered picnic table area right now.
Okay, that's
There's a
enough.
lot of
I don't need to know exactly where it's at, just so long as we have it. Okay.
And the gazebo is where I was hoping to put our musician.
I think that's good.
Cool.
Do you have that? Do you have that thing, Dennis?
I do, if I can get the screen share.
Okay. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I can read it to you. Or I can. So if I could use my other. Oh, ta-da! Oh, you're so good. Thank you. Okay, so so I wanted to have the figures for the budget, just so so I know that there are permits and insurances and stuff. So if it's necessary for me to know about that, Nicole Weeby. So number 2 is right what we're talking about. During the wine walks, wine walks went from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's a 3-hour session. And if we're going to have a 6-hour event, I wanted to hire 2 different musicians so that we only had to pay for, and then they don't have to have that breaks and whatever else in between for hanging out for 6 hours. And so these are the prices that we had at the wine walks, and it's the prices that they had for the last 6 years. So a solo would get $200 for a 3-hour session. 2 to 3 performers in a little group got $300 for that session. 4 or more in their band would get $500. So based on the wine walks time of 3 hours, we're going to spend a minimum of $200 and the maximum of $1,000 for our bands. And I don't think I can find 2 bands that have 4 or more. So I don't think that's a problem. I was even hoping.
That's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. I'm actually more concerned about all the different signage and what that might cost in designing and all that stuff, but that's fine.
Okay,
Signage is important though. We'll have to figure out a good way of doing it.
Okay, and there'll be some, I'd like some signage. And 3 of our sandwich boards on Snoqualmie Parkway, maybe 4 on Railroad Avenue, so we can get people coming and going. There'll probably be 2 at the Railroad Museum. I'm on number 3 now. I want our community art project. I'd like a banner for that. We haven't decided how big we want it. We don't know exactly what words we want on it yet, but we only need 1 banner. And Donna Cronk, how big is your banner going to be for plein air?
I don't know.
Okay,
They're usually 2 feet by 10, 2 feet by 9 or 10, because they go on a 10 by 10 tent.
okay. A 10 by 10
What I
fence.
was imagining, yeah.
Okay, so what we would do is try to find some place that we're going to have our community art project performed, or have it set up for our humans, and so we need to figure out exactly how big that banner is going to be and what it's going to say and colors and stuff. I was that for the picnic table area, I wanted to call it a food court so that people could get their foods from the food trucks. And if I'm curious to find out how many of our restaurants you have concession stand kind of set up. Be kind of cool to have somebody from, so that we don't impact their restaurant, make it so that they have people lining up outside the door. But if they could sell some of their stuff, take it off their menu for the day, and instead do the easy stuff over at the Art Train Park area, that might be kind of cool if it's something that can be kind of portable. But that's my magical thinking. So I need.
Can I pause you for just a second, Michelle? Because I think, we're all getting the gist of the different types of banners and signage. So is this your ideal, or is this kind of like, we have to do all of these?
This is ideal.
Ideal, okay. Because I'm not really thinking that there's much value in spending money on a food court picnic table banner. And this is just my own opinion. And the reason why is people aren't going to read it. They're not going to care. They're going to go wherever they're going to want to go.
Okay.
You may want and have a vision of, oh, you're going to sit here and we're all going to picnic together. But that's literally not what people are going to do.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to get food and go, hey, let's go sit over here by whatever.
Okay.
So
And
for me, it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have, if I have a pool of money, I would go, that's the last thing I'm going to spend my money on. If I have extra, I'll buy it.
Right.
That's how I would view
Yeah.
it. Like,
I just didn't want someone to say, well, I've got this food now, what do I do with it?
yeah, well,
It's going to, they're going, yeah. And if
I
we,
usually know what
and
to
that's
do
why
with
I
it.
wanted to have tables set up for.
Yeah, I think
nice and
that
clean.
gives you like kind of a herding area, and people will obviously gravitate. I don't think a sign will add much more value. What I was wondering is since this is your ideal, what might be nice, because we will have a budget, is to put these in order of like, gotta have, nice to have, if we have extra money.
Okay, that
Kind of.
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful. What do you think, Nicole Weeby?
I like that. I also think like what sign can be made with a Word document versus what sign is part of the art. Like the first aid sign could be, a Word document, because I think that signage is important. It is important, but it's also the bane of an event. And I think those of you that did the wine walks, you spent an inordinate amount of time running around putting signs up here and there and everywhere. It was so I just think you have to be mindful, like band posters. And there's certain things that I just think you have to prioritize. I agree, Donna.
So
Yeah,
maybe, so maybe if I don't have a band poster, all I need to really have is like a whiteboard or something that announces which band is going to be playing at which hours.
yes, I would agree with that. Some kind of
Okay.
whiteboard that you can erase off of, and then you add the next one starts in a half an hour or at
Yeah,
2:30.
I love that because I've
Yeah,
got the whiteboard.
and-
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
great. That's perfect.
much more cost effective. It's reusable, so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys have obviously put a lot of work. I mean, that's amazing. It's coming together. The
Yes.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we were really just more of looking for the overarching total spend, and it's like,
Yeah.
when I'm looking at this, I
And-
think you're looking at what, $2,000-3,000 when I'm looking
Right,
at.
it's right down the very next thing that's with our materials and supplies, that's where we know that we're going to have some
Right, so
cash
I think
layout.
it's
So-
sounding like a cumulative total, once we get some banners and get an idea of like that concept there, probably a $2,000-3,000 max. What do you think?
Right, so and I'm not, yeah, I don't know how much a banner is, so that kind of makes it difficult, but I've noticed that, so I've got, I found 2 wonderful drop cloths for painters that is made with a fabric. It's a canvas, but we can use we can use the fabric pens. Will work on them, and so I've ordered them already just so I can have them at home to see. So 2 big 9x12 canvases are $35. That's you know together they come in one package, and then there are permanent fabric pens. And then when I was working on this, I was thinking that there's got to be a way to keep the fabric pen gooey off of the kids and their clothes. So I might have to find aprons or make aprons quickly with oilcloth stuff, just so that they have a way to work and not get yucky.
That's what parents are for.
Yeah, I
I
don't think that's your responsibility. I think if
Me
parents
too.
wanna
I don't
have
think
their
it's
kids
ours.
do that, that's on them.
Okay.
pretty much. Let's
Exactly.
look at that one.
And so
Enter at your own
overall-
risk. You can maybe
overall,
put a
I
sign
think
that says that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Michelle, I think that you've really laid out here what it is. I think you've been transparent. You've told us what it costs, and I think a community art project for that amount, it's in the ballpark of what we do for the window murals. So I have,
Yeah.
is anyone, I'm not opposed. Is anyone else opposed?
No.
so my
I'm not.
total is at the bottom. It's according to the band, is from 522 to 715.
Yeah, I think it's in our budget. If I looked back on our annual budget, we're in a good place.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And
Thank you
so
for the transparency, though.
thank you. I have one question. I foreseen having to need some bodies for this. So is there a way to get volunteers? I never had to do that with the wine walk.
We could do a call out for sure in city correspondence and ask for it.
Okay.
Why don't we, because in the essence of time, and we've got a pretty juicy topic,
Right,
put that on the agenda for the next meeting. That we
Okay.
want to talk about call out for volunteers, and we can all think about like methods we've used in the past.
great, I love it.
Okay, because we do want to get to the mural topic, and we're at 6:15 right now.
Okay, but we've done so much work already that I had to make sure that we were going in the right direction, that we were on the right track.
It seems like you guys have covered a lot. You got a budget, you've got artists, you're working with the depot. I think it sounds like it's coming together. You got a name for your event. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Feel
so
good about it. Thank you, Dennis.
Did you get all your questions answered, Nicole Weeby, on sponsorship budget?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I feel good about this, yeah.
Okay, then let's move to murals.
So far the RFQ and the contract and scope have been drafted. Nicole Weeby has shared that with Kat and Donna so far, and she's also going to share it with someone who works at the city who has previous mural experience. I think, Nicole, you've been debating whether or not you want to send it to the group. I think you've decided that probably makes the most sense, just glancing at your email again. So just so everyone knows, the RFQ, the request for qualifications, you can think about that document like a guideline. It's kind of an outline for what we're requesting. The contract occasionally repeats part of that because that needs to be included in the contract language. So the contract and scope are what the person is actually agreeing to do. The artist is actually agreeing with the city. So just in case you don't run into those documents often, that's what that's about. And we are a little bit behind schedule just because life happens. But I guess my question maybe is, Nicole, what else do we want to share with the group to introduce that? And what questions do people have for me?
So I didn't even have a chance to get it out to everybody. Jonathan, the planner. So Jonathan is one of our planners that used to work in the city of North Ellensburg, and he created a mural ordinance. So we are going to be, as a city, be working on that, a mural ordinance, but we're going to move ahead with this project first. And Nicole, I'll share it with you, some of the changes. He just tightened up some of the language and put some, just his lens on it, which I think is a good thing.
Perfect.
Again, not diminishing your work at all.
Oh no, please. I'm welcome to have it.
Like one of the things, so just to kind of update the group, this is a heavy lift. I think we all know that this is the heavy lift, and I really want to say kudos to Nicole because she took all of that information from the city admins and she created these documents. And so we'll take these changes from Jonathan and we'll look at them, and then I'll have to send them to outside. So we don't have 2 city attorneys anymore. I told you guys that last month. We have outside counsel and things just take a little bit longer. So needless to say, it's going to be hard or challenging to keep this project going to get painted by the fall, but we're going to do our darndest. So I think Nicole, you had said a completion deadline of September 30th, that's if we can get all this stuff out. But I just want to make sure you had impressed upon me that these things take time for artists to submit, like they need more than just a 2-week open period to submit their application.
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely. People, one, need time, right? If you're thinking about this going out, most likely we'll go out to a place called Cafe, which is Call for Artists. People need time, right? If you're an artist, you check that every few days or every day, depending on, then you find an application that you're interested in, you think about how you're going to respond, right? This is just like responding to a big proposal for work. So it does, I want us to be respecting the idea that we're hoping professional artists are going to be responding. That means that they have to be able to build these things into their timeline. This isn't like, oh, they're sitting around, they trip over this and they're so excited they're going to fill it out tomorrow, right? I mean, sometimes professional artists are booked out quite a while. So we want to make sure that we leave it up a couple of weeks. I requested a month to leave the call open. And so I agree with you, Nicole. I think, potentially next steps might be getting the you said you received the feedback from Jonathan, maybe integrating that feedback, you and I touching base for maybe just a half an hour so I can clean up the section about the downtown foundation and the rules about the colors, that type of stuff, so that we have a really comprehensive document before we send it out to the group for feedback. Would that work for you?
Yeah, and the other thing that Nicole really impressed upon me that I just was ignorant to this is that the selection process. So what Nicole's proposing that Jonathan seems to agree with because he didn't exit out or redact it is that up to 3 artists will be shortlisted for interviews based on the qualifications and criteria listed in this application. A final artwork proposal will be selected after a short presentation or interview. The selection process will include multiple levels of review, including the Arts Commission, Planning Commission, and the business owners. So that's something that I just need to remind everybody that it is in the downtown, historic downtown. So it has to go through the planning commission, the historic downtown review. There also is a, essentially a color palette that has to be used downtown. There's a little bit of wiggle room. But it does have its own, unique color scheme. So Ms. Nicole, what would you like to add on the selection process? I'm not being very, I don't think I'm being very clear.
Oh, no, I think you were. I think you read it and it's clear. It's just, it helps the group to know that we're not, we aren't requesting finalized designs. That's not common when you do just a request for qualifications. And I think that that's more respectful of the artist, the time. And I think it gives us a little bit more flexibility with choosing the person if we get to interview them, get some initial sketches, that type of thing. So this is a design process that's used pretty commonly, and I think it will result in the best quality. One of my goals for this is not necessarily worrying about jamming it in the timeline. It's more about making sure that we have a beautiful quality mural. So like Nicole said, whether or not we can get it done by September is, we'll see.
Why not make it October 31st? We typically have a lot of nice days that flow right into October. I mean, if you're concerned about September 30th.
What I would rather do than commit, I have a really specific schedule, and instead of committing to a deadline today with this group, I'd like to kind of go through our next steps, which is integrating those comments, getting it out to the group, then getting it out to council. And at that point, we'll have a better understanding of whether it is going to fit into the end of September or October. I don't want to say here or there until we get a little further along in the process.
And the beauty to try to find the silver lining is that we are the first year of a 2-year budget cycle. So we aren't, trying to beat the clock. So if worst case scenario, we know what artists we're going to get or we choose. And then we say, okay, painting's going to have to occur in the spring of 2024. We can allow ourselves that wiggle room if we need to.
And Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we can go through this whole process and the lawyers can review it. And if we have to change the dates, that's completely fine. We don't have to go back through a review for just a date change, right?
You mean to go to legal review? Like if they say this is all good, just update, or we have legal review it, but then we maybe can't get on the planning commission schedule or something like that, and then the dates change.
I mean, we could, as long as we kept to the concept of the schedule, I think we could move the date here or there if we had to.
And remind me, Nicole, so one of the things that we're thinking to this group is that we would probably need to schedule like a special arts commission meeting to review all this. And then Nicole, were we thinking that we needed to invite the planning commission at that point, or were we gonna send the final decision to the planning commission? I think we're gonna do the final decision to the planning, right?
I'm gonna use some language we heard earlier. My magical thinking would be that we all work together and have the Arts Commission and the Planning Commission together, only because I think that creates buy-in with the Planning Commission if we involve them earlier.
Yeah.
And City Council doesn't need to weigh in on this.
So what we'll do, if I'm trying to, my brain's kind of fried, it's been a day here. I think if the Arts Commission and the Planning Commission sign off on it, and especially with the historical design review, then the Planning Commission might go through the CD department, would go to council, and it's more of a, hey, bless this, here's what we're going to do.
Well, it gives the community an opportunity to weigh in too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's on the agenda item. That's why.
All of our meetings are public. And so even the special meeting where we bring together the Arts Commission and the Planning Commission, that's public, and public can come in and they can offer their opinions, but the people making the decision would be the planning and the Arts Commissioner. And also what's unique in this situation is the building owner, because he's very specific about what he wants on there. And we've also talked about how this is a gateway to the community, to the downtown. So this one, the goal is to kind of have it be like a welcome to Snoqualmie, or Michelle or Nicole put it in the language in there. So it will be more, I don't want to say directional, but more just saying that versus like on another wall, what would be strictly more of a painted art, you know, like what the brewery has or what some other ones on the back of Falls.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nicole, for your help.
Yeah, I'll get this to you probably tomorrow, Nicole, what Jonathan, it's just tweaking of language, which I think is really good.
Perfect.
Um,
I really appreciate it.
Nice job, Nicole. Nicole,
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's a lot of work. I can see that, and it takes more than what average human would understand in a lump. It's amazing to me that we can get this done, and I'm excited for it.
Carson, our special guest, did you have questions?
I do.
In particular for the mural project.
Well, I've learned a lot just from listening here, but I do absolutely. So the way I understand it is it's on the back half of the carousel building at 8002 Railroad, right?
Yeah.
So it is going to be visible when you drive in on the left side. I'm assuming that there's the awning with the lights that carousel has out of it, and then there's just the flat backside.
It's the cinder block, it's just the beige wall, so it's
Okay.
her windows, the wall, and then her parking lot.
The parking lot.
As you're coming
Okay.
down on King Street, so it's her windows,
Yeah.
the blank building, and then you go into her parking lot.
The windows are a part of it as well.
No,
Oh.
I'm just trying to,
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to say, it's that's a blank cinder block wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the intent of it is to be a extension or a type of welcoming art piece. So it's not necessarily supposed to be something that is completely for the purpose of just providing a visual work of art, but it's supposed to be conveying the message of welcome to Snoqualmie is what I'm hearing, correct?
Right. All of the above, an art piece, a beautiful art piece and a welcoming.
Okay, so with it, so I'm reading over the RFP in the pre-revised version, the one that's posted online during the meeting. So the intent that I saw on it is that it's supposed to be kind of I don't want to say future thinking, but like I'm gonna try to find the actual words that there were right here. The innovation aspect of it. Is there something specific that like that the commission would like to see that would make this mural distinct from other ones out there? I guess, is there something special that you guys are looking for?
I think the fact that it would say something along the lines of welcome would make it unique, because so far the rest of all the other murals that are downtown are more of a painting of artwork. So I guess I don't want to say directional, but touristy, kind of gateway signage. That's because of the location and what the landlord wants. That's kind of where we're at here. There's other opportunities we hope through town, and then those could become more artistic, or like some of the commissioners, like Steve Pennington is saying, like, let's bring in like some historic stuff with the tribe. But there'll be other opportunities for other walls to become more of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that are we answering your questions?
Yes, so it's I'm kind of interpreting it as being kind of like an artistic welcoming billboard more is I guess like I try to categorize things a lot more, so I mean, like so with that's just my interpretation of it. But are there specific themes you guys are looking for? Are you looking for something that specifically calls out elements of the past? Are you looking for like wildlife? Are you looking for bright colors? Is there like a theme, a mood that like you guys are looking for? Because it's a very, very open-ended, but a very constricted kind of set of requirements. And it's really, really hard to read minds on this right here, and to get what it is that you guys are visioning into paper is always such a challenge for everyone to be able to understand. This is what we're really looking for. So, so is there specific elements that like the commission would like to see in it? Like, would they want to see like trains? Would they want to see the elk herd? Would they want to see Mount Si? Would they want to see something to do with the tribe?
So I would say that that's part of the effort here, is to make, we're trying to be very careful not to be too prescriptive. That was a conversation that we had in a previous meeting, because we want there to be the flexibility for art and inspiration, you know, on the side of the artists. There are the limitations of the landlord, of course, but.
Yeah,
Right.
but I thought
Yes.
in the overview, it really does give you that overarching theme, and that the design of each mural should take into consideration, you know, location and viewing angles and so on, but the design should meet the historic requirements of a historic downtown look and feel. So it gives you that aesthetic overview. And then it talks about Snoqualmie being a close-knit community with Mount Si and mountains and history and railroads and so on. So to Steve's point, we want to have some artist interpretation. I mean, but it does talk about from the palettes and so on, but then it becomes more of a, does it give you the history? Does it bring you more of the, the geographic beauty, or is it about logging or hops, or you know, really that artist at that point? But it does need to say welcome.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
appreciate that. I apologize. My internet dropped off in the middle of this and I came back in. So yeah, I agree with the things that have been said. One of the things that's unclear from that document is how specific the historic look and feel requirements are. Like, there's actually colors, which will be included in this document. So when you said to me, oh, is it bright colors? It will be very clear that bright colors are not an option, because the color samples and the directions will be included. So I think, like the other said, I think there's probably enough to say it has to say some type of welcoming language. It has to fit within these downtown historic requirements, including color. And then there's kind of a language throughout that says different things about our community that I think give artists enough. I personally think it gives them enough direction to get headed in the right area, whether, like the others have said, whether that's nature or whether that's about community. I'm open to what they bring to the table. I also want to add for the group that I've had a couple of, and I may have mentioned this before, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. I have spoken with the Chamber of Commerce for the Snoqualmie Valley, and we've started a conversation about creating a mural map in the Chamber app so that we can become part of an art destination in this whole region. So the murals in our area will be, you know, to the point of the question, they will be about art and they will be about the bigger concept of art in this area. But this specific mural really is a welcoming sign. And, you know, to your point, maybe it will feel to some like a billboard in the concept, but I think if you look at other examples in other cities, this is pretty common style of mural.
Yeah, I think that, didn't we talk about a possible 2024 doing Mural Fest? You know, that was on last month. We talked about Mural Fest.
Yeah, Donna, that's true. The chamber definitely wants to head that up, and being that the chamber has, you know, 5 different communities that the chamber supports. I think that's something that as an arts commission, based on our funding, which I think we'll be able to do, we can support that however that is. You know, maybe we'll have our ordinance by then. Maybe we could say, oh, we're offering up another wall or something like that. But yeah, I think that's coming in 2024.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah, I'm having another meeting with the chamber about that in 2 weeks, so I can fill you guys in Again, obviously we'll only submit, this commission will only support the Snoqualmie piece, but how we're involved in that, I'll be sure to keep updating you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Do we have other questions?
I think they're just happy that you took the heavy lift and did all the and did the work. But you guys are all dividing and conquering. The art train's taking a lot of time. Kat's doing the kiddie events. So you guys are dividing up and conquering.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How is Wing Luke?
So that was, I was going to, I don't actually quite understand why we have the meeting notes or the meeting agendas listed out the way we do. I need the, so it's technically new business, but yeah, I wanted to give an update on the art hanging overall plan, and specifically the Wing Luke, if we have time on the agenda for that.
We can add it to the agenda. So you're up, Steve. Wing
Okay.
Luke.
Okay, so Nicole's done a great job of getting that up and going and getting it to us. It is, as most of you have seen, exhibited at City Hall. We've done a couple different open houses, and we will do more. I'm out of the country for the next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow night. But then once I get back, I'll be able to kind of double my efforts on that space. We have augmented it with. I got a copy of a book that was written using Jimmy's artwork as the illustrations, and so I got a copy of that book, and it is in the lobby of City Hall if people want to flip through that. It's kind of in the, it's like a children's stories sort of, but it's educational about a cat who was taken with his family to an internment camp, and so it tells the story using the paintings that you see in the exhibit. Not paintings, they're drawings. I keep using the wrong words. And then also I did acquire 2 copies of the DVD for the Cats of Mirakatani. Kat has one of my cat copies of the Cats of Mirakatani and has reviewed it. I have not had a chance yet to watch it, but I will. I can make it available. Maybe I can drop it off to Nicole. Maybe she'll volunteer for that. But if anybody wants to review the movie over the next couple of weeks, and then if we think it's appropriate, we could possibly arrange a screening at City Hall. If that's something that we'd like to do. I don't actually know. I haven't actually watched it yet. But I know Kat had nice things to say about it. She said she watched it twice this weekend.
Okay, good.
So I don't know if Kat's trying to say something. She's on mute, but
No, I just nodding in agreement, and it was, it was one of those, the prior to reality TV kind of things, but the things that this artist has lived through in his lifetime, pretty profound stuff, and so it's not something that's probably short enough to like show in a loop if people were to come through, like the book you were mentioning, Steve, and but certainly to offer a chance to review it, or have a screening of it, maybe for the general public too, would be an interesting idea. Nicole Wiebe, have we been getting people through to see the drawings and stuff?
There's been a few people. We had the blood drive in here last week as well, and then we've got a couple of big meetings, so that's always nice to have people in the building. We did have one of our engineers, his dad was a history teacher and very interested in Japanese culture. Even, what did he say? His dad spent a week at like a former internment camp, like living there. It was an interesting, like an immersion experience, but he lives in down by Vancouver, and he made a trip up to visit his son and to come see the gallery because of his interest. I thought that was kind of nice, and I was glad that Andrew shared that with me. So admittedly, it's challenging with the hours that City Hall is open, and there's staff have enjoyed it. Some of them, the ones upstairs here that are more of this kind of sober, the 9/11, they're not as cute as the kitty cats, but yeah. And then Steve, thank you for having the Valley Record come out. That was really nice to see that in the paper, just to toot our horn a little bit on that one.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah. So I had forwarded the information, the same email that I sent out to all of you. I sent to Bill Shaw, and so he dispatched a reporter, and we did a walkthrough, and just trying to get the word out and talk about what we've done. So the other bit of business I have in this space, though, is that I also use this as an opportunity to kick off the conversation with the list of artists that I had, and via the Mount Si Artist Guild, et cetera, to get the word out for the kind of who's next in hanging in City Hall. And I was looking for guidance in terms of how much input the commission wants to have in terms of reviewing who's gonna be in future shows, schedules, timelines, that sort of thing. Like, I'm happy just to kind of put it all together and go. The next, after in mid-July, when we take the current work down and return it to the Wing Luke, the next showing was going to be a group hanging of Mount Si Artist Guild artists, just kind of as a group, which I think is exciting, and I've been working with them on that, assuming that that's okay with everybody else, that this is the plan going forward, and then have them go for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I'm not quite sure how the calendar is going to line up on that yet, but then we've got we have a lot we have a lot of interest from people who like the people who were there's an artist who had their stuff in City Hall right when the lockdown happened, and so then had all of their art in City Hall for 2 years and nobody saw it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
I saw it. I was here.
so they would love to get a second run at that. There is a block in I think September or October that is going to be what one of you had forwarded, the young woman who just got her master's in fine arts at the Art Institute in Chicago. Her show will be available to show in City Hall, so that'll be really, really good. But again, a lot. Ann Heineman, longtime art teacher at Mount Si High School, who does a lot of pottery. She would like a chance to show, and what I was thinking, Nicole, is that we could consider having her show some of her pottery stuff in the case, even even ahead of time, because we can, since we've got that wonderful space available to us, we could do some pottery in the case, yeah, while there's art hanging from the
Yeah.
Artist Guild.
That could come as soon as you can get her in here.
Yeah.
That case is empty right now, so.
Yeah. So that'll be obviously once I get back into the country, but but yeah, so I guess if everybody's okay, I will put together a proposed schedule and send it out to everybody to review. But does that sound like an appropriate approach?
Absolutely.
The other thing I would say, Steve, is that I'd actually love to be just somehow peripherally involved. Not obviously, I just would love to be in the kind of the loop, just because I like to know some of the things that are happening locally. I think having kind of foreknowledge would be nice, just so that I'm kind of plugged into what we're up to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will get this. Most of the artists have supplied links to their web pages or their social media, Instagram accounts, that sort of thing. And I will get the whole thing put together with my proposed kind of order of people. get that back out to the artists for them to review. Some of them have been like, why haven't you replied to me? You know, it's like, okay, there's a lot of you to talk to. And I will send that out to all of you as well. And so you'll have all that. And some of the, I think, Dennis, you'll appreciate just being able to look through some of the art. I mean, there's some really fun stuff. There's obviously a lot of painting, there's a little bit of photography, and then there's just some really, really fun, like there's a guy that does, how do I want to, like, really kind of industrial graphic art sort of approach, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of sci-fi themed, and yeah, just a lot of really
Oh,
cool.
wow. That sounds great.
Yeah, and so yeah, my goal is, I thought that it would be, because this is the kickoff for kind of reintroducing City Hall as a place with art, that we would do the Mount Sinai Artist Guild, because that they will also then want to come see it as well. They'll all of their friends and family will want to come see it. It'll be well attended, and then we can start doing the kind of the solo things after that, and I'll mix up the styles accordingly. The other thing is that art, I want to put together, and it's not ready yet, but I want to put together kind of a guideline for everybody to sign off on in terms of how we handle the art when we're like in the first case, the Wing Luke had clear guidance. We knew what we were doing. Everything was fine. But going forward, we want to make sure that we talk about like what liability looks like. Some of the artists have already said, oh, and what do we do if somebody wants to buy one of the pieces of artwork, right? And I want to make it very clear that we're not setting up an art for sale gallery. We will have contact information. If people want to reach out to the artists, they can. And then after the exhibit is down, they can sell the art.
Yeah, we're not an art gallery.
Yeah, I don't want to be responsible for art going on up and down off the walls in the middle of the shows, because I don't want to walk in and see a hole on a wall and wonder, well, you know, why, oh no, did somebody steal a painting or something? So you know, so we want to make sure we have guides on it. But I'm going to put that all together in a document and have you all review and sign off on that approach as well. So
Sounds good. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Mhm.
And thank you, Nicole, for bringing in that exhibit. It really is. It's pretty special.
super cool.
Very special.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other business? Because it is 6:49. I got to mow my lawn, so hopefully we don't have any more business. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So shall we say adjourn 6:49?
Sounds good. I
Yeah.
second.
Thanks, everyone.